We're talking about Rusalka today, people.
You were hoping I was going to stop you.
And that is, I definitely wanted you to stop me.
This is your podcast.
I regretted it as soon as I opened my mouth.
For March 23rd, 2019. Listener, how you doing today? How you feeling? Feeling good? Great. We're talking about Rusalka today.
Great, moving on.
A little bit of Czech music. You better check yourself before
Check
you
yourself
wreck
before you
yourself.
wreck yourself. Beautiful stuff, especially my little rendition.
Czech music is beautiful. Like Russian music and all that stuff. It kind of doesn't get that much stuff. And Rusalka, I mean, we'll get into it, but that's also an opera that didn't get a lot of international stuff till recently.
No, I mean seriously.
I think the Met first did it like in the 90s.
That's right. I was surprised by all that. I was surprised to find out how late it made its way because
it's also not that old of opera. We'll get into it.
We're getting into it, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
So
I just gave myself a headache.
Mike and I look professional today. We're in our SDAO Live at the Opera get-up, which maybe you've never seen it, but it's embroidered logos on these blazers.
Dude, they definitely haven't seen it because we haven't released it yet. Hopefully.
Well, we did an Instagram story about picking up the jackets once.
That's right.
So maybe you saw it.
That's right.
No, we're going to be releasing stuff here real soon. I'm going to do it on the plane. We pre-recorded. This is episode 5, season 2. We pre-recorded episode 6 last week because I will be in New York for a couple weeks, and so Mike and I are going to be taking a break, but you guys still get your goodies. We pre-recorded some goodies for you. But episode 7, we'll be back. We're going to hit it hard. It's been promised that there'll be beer waiting for us. We got some excited stuff going on.
Oh my God, I'm so excited about that. Do you want to tell them?
No.
Okay, we'll just...
No. But Mike and I, we did some interviews today, and that's... It's an interesting thing because Mike and I, we have barely gotten used to podcasting with each other. And then to interview with people with cameras is a different thing, isn't it?
I'll tell you what. So today I really noticed, goddamn, that's a whole other level of
craft
of
Manship.
Performing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just different. I have the ability to bullshit with the best of them, I feel.
Yeah.
But to bullshit on the camera.
It has to be like controlled bullshitting.
It's controlled bullshitting, and it's a different timing than we have here, because I could do these. I could make a 48-hour podcast. I could just go for 48 hours.
We should find a cause someday and do a 24-hour podcast,
Oh my God, dude.
That would be exhausting. I would do it, though. 24-hour live podcast.
And just have 7 hours of sleeping? 7 hours of deadness?
You can't stay awake for 24 hours, Mike?
Of course I could.
No, but the thing is, like, because we do the podcast, it's a fast pace. We talk over each other. It's a conversation. Mm-hmm. There's no cuts. There's no editing, right?
Right.
We rarely edit, and it's usually because of some sort of technological glitch.
Jared was the producer today of this segment, and he kept telling me, like, he would get done with a question answer. He's like, Mike, you gotta leave some time.
Yeah.
You can't just keep talking because I've got to edit that shit later, and you're making my life hell.
Yeah, she'd be like, and so I think it's an interesting production. What do you think about
awesome. That's interesting.
But you know, that must be also the difference between film acting and stage acting. Because stage acting,
yes,
you react right off of somebody because it is what it is. And you can even talk over somebody. But in film acting, you're going to do 10, 15 takes. And I think that's a different craft. And I think that aspect of the craft possibly doesn't get respected as much as it should.
No, I think that's true.
The bigger picture. How is this going to be edited? Where do I need to stand? How do I need to deliver this line so that it can be cut up in a way that can be packaged?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that's tough.
That's the sort of thing that you have... In the rehearsal process, you can just do that over and over again, right? You can just work on it and see what's going on and try something new and make mistakes and everything. But you have to do that with cuts. It's almost like the cuts involve some sort of micro, like the micro rehearsal process. It's
its
filming.
own skill set, Yeah. To be able to, I mean, it's that same way like when I did some studio music back in the day, Like when you play a gig, it's like, you kind of like, you just need to make the event happen and you need to create an atmosphere. But like when it's going to go down forever, you know what I mean?
Well, the other thing is it's so difficult. Like Today
my shirt off. Sorry, I'm really scared to drip coffee on this.
Yeah, well, I noticed he wasn't paying attention to me at all. He was just
No, I was
like
paying
you were looking
attention
at
to
your
you.
nips or something. But
No, I was paying attention, but just this is like if I spill coffee on this, we have our filming on Saturday. What am I going to do?
we won't do anything.
I would encourage you to do the same, but you don't have anything on underneath.
What I was gonna I already ruined a shirt yesterday. I went to pick up Jeannie, and I didn't know she had been walking on the mud, and I picked her up, and she just put 2 big boot prints on my fat belly. Jesus. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Ah, God damn it! You threw me all off.
The stage acting and filming and being part of the process, studio musician.
Oh yeah. The one thing I actually had a chance to do some camera acting.
Yeah.
Recently for a production, right? They were doing they would have.
Yeah, it's getting more popular
in her mind. They would actually do the camera perspective as if this
like
person
a
walked
POV.
in. Yeah, like a POV, exactly.
Nice.
Not that kind of POV though.
It just means point of view, Mike. I don't know where your mind went, but it just means point of view.
Everybody knows what we're talking about. Anyway, I did that, and what I found particularly interesting, and which is why I think a lot of actors might gravitate towards method acting, right?
Yeah.
Is that in between takes, it was hard to
keep in it,
and to keep the line going from a scene, right?
Oh, that's really hard. That's true. Yes.
And when I'm on stage, oftentimes I would think, why are we rehearsing this today? Can't we put this onto it so that I can be like? Can't we do the scene beforehand also so that I can get into it and understand what that's going to mean?
Right.
You don't have that luxury ever.
No, that's really true. And I mean, even in the little things we do, I find that, because if someone's saying something confusing to you and then your line is, what are you talking about? Before you deliver the line, you can't start acting on the line. Your face has to be listening to what that person said.
Right. You have had to experience it already.
And you can see on someone's face when they're listening. And so these actors, they will film it days apart, weeks apart.
It's funny.
And you have to actively be listening,
That was your criticism to me today. You said, Mike, you have to have your face look like you're interested in what the person is saying.
Well, that's the thing on this podcast.
I was terribly interested.
We're planning to go to film this year on this podcast, and that will be an interesting experience because I can't have my shirt off.
Why not?
I don't know. I guess I could
show those berry guns.
But the thing is on this podcast, we will constantly look. Mike will be talking, and I'll be talking to you, and I'll just look behind me, or I'll look down the whole time.
I just got scolded by Jared before this started.
But when you interview, you have to look engaged.
Yep.
And artificially so.
Yep.
Because you've heard her. We talked to this woman before we interviewed her, and we days ago we knew what we were going to say, but you still have to be like,
oh, that's interesting.
And it's stupid monkey behavior, but you have to fucking do it. Yeah, you got scolded. Yeah, you did. I
got scolded
because, naughty boy.
Because Jared thinks, every time I pick up my phone during this podcast, it's for some important piece of information. But the last podcast, I did it.
Which is the next podcast.
Right, which is... This is weird. It's like we're in a time warp or something. Yeah. I picked up my phone and I did a non-vital piece of information, and I saw Jared have a fucking aneurysm. He had an aneurysm.
I can't even deal. I can't even
I'm playing
begin.
I'm playing with my phone case right now, and it's driving him insane. I can see his muscles flexing. He's grabbing the chair.
Well, Mike and I are very similar, but we have different ways that we channel our nervous energy, our anxiety that we have.
I fiddle with
Mike's
shit.
a fucking fiddler, and he plays fiddle.
That's true.
Yeah. Do you want to beer it up? What do you think?
Oh yeah, I'll get it for you.
Okay. Yeah,
we got to move this. We got to move this thing over here.
We will.
Once the studio is set up, we need.
I'll tell them about it when you get the beer. Yeah. So tomorrow, possibly, we're getting some walls in here. I don't know. I think we've told you guys about it, but we're going to build a straight up boxed-in studio with this portion of our larger studio with a window and everything. Right? We're going real official with it. We got the heater put in finally, so we're not freezing our nips off down here. And once we get that wall in, we got to move that mini fridge in here. Bottle opener's on the window over there. Over there. We got some curtains for that window. There's a huge list of shit we need. But the coffee machine's up and running. I'm fucking happy about that. All right, Mike, so tell the people what you got here.
Yeah, there's a huge list of everything we need. And by the way, if you guys want to help us with that...
Oh, there it is. Plug it up.
You could buy us a coffee or go sponsor us on Patreon.
Yeah.
And that helps with all the shit that we need to do. I mean, little stuff. People don't recognize that, people... It oftentimes seems like what is €5 going to do, right? What's that going to do? €5 is a good chunk of the curtain that we need to buy.
Well, and we buy little things that cost that much all the time.
All the time.
Microphone covers, like there's just little things here and there that you have to buy that add up to that. And if you do go to Patreon, also keep in mind that you actually get something worth the $5 a month you spend to be a sponsor. We put up content. We put up a 15-minute video in there the other week. I mean, that's a big chunk of content. Yep. So if you're a fan, and you want some more, then fucking think about it.
There's a
ouch.
The video is of a singer making his debut as Renato in Masken.
Un ballo in maschera.
Un ballo in maschera.
All right, Mike, tell me what you got here.
I got Budweiser, but not the American Budweiser. If for you guys who don't know, there is a Czech beer, Budweiser, and it's fucking awesome. So we got the Czech beer for the Czech opera.
I wish I could read about this. It's in fucking Czech on the back. Yeah, I was, if you remember from...
You want me to read it to you?
That means hops, water. Yeah, no, I was at last season of this season. I went to Prague and I brought back a bunch of Czech beer. They're doing good stuff with beer out there, man. Prague's a cool place if you guys have never been.
I've never been.
You can do anything there,
What do you mean you can do anything?
If you want to bring your kids, Mike, and you want to have like a family vacation, like you can. There's lots of family-friendly stuff. You can have an amazing time with your family. If you're more of like you want to go with your boyfriend or your girlfriend and do like history tours, like museums and stuff, really cool museums there. And if you want to fucking party and snort cocaine off of a hooker's ass crack, that's very easy to find. They sell pot in like every store there.
That's great.
What's cool about Prague is because of the war, like with the Nazis and stuff like that, basically they took everything away from like who the ruler was at the time. Mm-hmm. And his family went to New York. And then like in the 90s, they called this guy up in New York and they're like, you can have it all back, right? And so some normal dude with like really thick Brooklyn accent inherited like all of Prague. Like
what? Castles
and museums, like an unimaginable huge amount of land and real estate. And so of course...
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I mean, there's millions and millions of pieces of artwork. And like for 10 years, they've just been trying to catalog all this stuff. That's how much fucking shit there is.
Wait a minute. So this guy was just a normal guy.
I don't know much about his life, but I just know that I did a museum tour there. And it's like this guy with like a very, very thick New York accent being like, I can't do a New York accent, but he's like my family in Prague, like this.
No,
that's
you definitely cannot.
Let me think. Hold on. What do New York people have? They're like toity, like.
What the fuck, dude? How can you be so far away from it?
All right, everybody from New York, I'm so sorry. I'll be there. I'll be there in a couple of days. I'll fucking
just
work on it.
Do a gangster accent.
No, I'm not going to toe that line. Look, the guy's from fucking Brooklyn, all right? And he's like leading these tours, and he has to basically make these museums and these castles open to the public so he can fund this stuff because the amount of property tax. So a real interesting story because that guy moved his whole life and his family at the age of 50 to Prague to be like the what's a Graf? The Count of Prague or whatever he is now. Prague's fucking cool, man. I suggest it.
Jesus, that's so cool. I want to meet this guy.
No, but really, if you and the wife and kids,
you're going, it's like you can't
go,
get a
man.
good fucking slice of pizza around here, huh?
Yeah. He talks like that. And
That's
he's giving the music
crazy, dude.
That's the accent.
Crazy.
All right, let's post it up here. Let's
wait. What do they say again?
Anstoßen, anposten. What do you mean?
No,
in the Czech?
Yeah, I can't remember shit.
I don't know, man.
When I did Katya Kabanova,
some Yana Czech stuff or what? Mm-hmm. That's good. That is a totally different flavor than the American Budweiser. Almost sweet.
Yeah, I like it.
Czech's doing some good beer, man. And Czech has a long history of music and stuff.
Definitely.
And I don't know why Czech stuff in general is not a bigger player on the international stage.
Yeah, well, it seems to be coming around, right?
Yeah.
So this was a big deal. Actually, that's a good transition to get into the podcast about Dvořák, right? Post-alveolar rolled fricative for you people, right?
Jeez, that was some nerd shit that you just said there.
Post-alveolar rolled fricative with the R with the hot check, it's called, right?
Bless you.
And it's basically like there's if I can get real nerdy on you,
nerd it up.
There's a voiced and an unvoiced version,
okay.
And if you want to try to do it, then you have to you do like a rolled R, like a light rolled R, but that has air escaping around the tongue. Like that.
Okay. Good.
And then also.
Nice.
Yeah?
I like it. It's a crazy language. When I was there...
I'm trying to remember the word. Přísně milosne, I think is what it's called. The song cycle by Dvořák. Love songs.
When I was in Prague, it's a language I can't remember. I think it's a language... Because they don't use Cyrillic. They use normal letters, right?
No, right.
And I think it's a language that when people spoke it, I couldn't even come close to understanding them, but you can almost read it.
Yeah, you could. I mean, the thing about Czech diction is, which by the way, there's a couple good books. One's by Tim Cheek. He's kind of the two Czech diction experts that have written material in America are Timothy Cheek, who does a lot of. He has a pronunciation book, and he does transcriptions of operas and IPA transcriptions, right? And then also David Adams wrote a book of Dvořák and Janacek songs.
It's good info.
And in the back of that, he has a very concise way of teaching the language. And the thing is, it's very ruled. It's like German. Once you know these rules, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to pick up on it. It's just that they have like consonant clusters, which you're no fucking way used to doing, and they take a lot of time to get. And of course, these consonants, like the post-alveolar rolled fricative and everything, that just take practice. But other than that, it's a pretty straightforward rules to pronunciation.
Once you have the sounds down,
once you have the sounds down, then it follows the rules.
I mean, every language...
It's not like English.
Yeah, I mean, but you somehow have to tap into this, like, because every language somehow has a natural way of speaking. You know what I mean? There is a natural placement. I mean, you just have to somehow tap into that. But
which is why learning the IPA, I suggest to anybody, if you're listening and you're not, and you, especially if you want to be a singer, if you're not really, really good at IPA, you got to get better. Yeah, you got to get better because that is the first step. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but the next thing that you were saying was about you have to learn the natural rhythm. Yeah. The IPA is the first step, right?
Right.
And then learning language, that's the next thing that you got to do, and you actually got to speak some of it and everything.
Well, it's
and then
the same
you learn
thing.
it.
Because when you talk about like learning new languages as a singer, the first thing you have to learn is how to pronounce it, because then you can fake it, you know? Right. Then you can fake it. And if you want to learn that, then you have to learn IPA. It's the tool that allows you to pronounce all languages, right?
Right.
It's like, so you're learning the skill of articulating, of pronouncing something, right? But if you want to learn language, then what you need to learn is linguistics. You need to learn adverbs, nouns, prepositions, hypothetical phrases, because it's the same in every language. Every language needs an article for the most part, or if they have a lack of an article or something, they replace it with something else. So it's the same. IPA for pronunciation, you have to learn your language things for a language.
And then you have to, if you really want to get good, then you have to go and live with it for a little bit, or have somebody speak it to you, because I can't tell you, like, now I feel German in a different way. I sing German in a different way than I could before, because before I had no idea what I was supposed to emphasize, right?
Yeah. Well, then also, because it's like the word carries a certain social weight. Mm-hmm. And it sounds a little bit esoteric, but the reality is you have to somehow, and you can't learn every language. So you have to talk to someone, you have to have some honest conversations. But if you really want to do something convincing, then you have to find a way to really hear that difference. Yeah. Because German people can hear it, even if you can't. You know, they can hear the difference. And it's just a little thing of how much you, something. Yeah. Really. I was trying to teach someone, because in English it's very difficult to say I like, right? I like something. Yeah. Or ich möchte, I would like, right? Hypothetical, I would like some tea. And in English we usually do a contraction. I'd like, right? Or I like. And we can hear the difference. And it's long vowels and short vowels, right? I like pizza versus I'd like pizza, right? And just the little tip I told this German person, because I could never understand what they were saying. If they were saying I would like or I like, I say, hey, just do long vowel or short vowel. And then it totally clicked, and then they were totally clear.
You know, I did that today with my wife. I asked her, I can't remember exactly what I was saying, but she said, like, I've been saying, sometimes you learn that you've been saying things in a way that you did not mean to say it in for German, years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sure, of course.
I said, like, wird das gehen? Oder wird das okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? würde das gehen?
Yeah.
Is what I actually should have been saying.
Yeah.
One, and it has to do with
One means it's gonna be okay, and one's like, would it be okay?
right.
Yeah.
Or it. So wird would be like it has already been decided.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I learned just the other day, for like 6 years, I've been saying können, and I never said können, which is actually like
right without the umlaut. Right.
right. One's hypothetical, and one's just the past of can, which is a mind fuck. Because in English, it's like I couldn't open the door, which is the past of could, or if I was 3 feet tall, I couldn't open the door, which is then hypothetical. It sounds the same. In German, you have to separate in your mind. It's fucking crazy. All right, let's get into the opera.
It's really crazy. Dude.
Let me check here. We do. Good. Oh, we're good. We're cooking.
We're cooking with oil now.
So how you want to get into this beast, Mike?
You want to start talking about the fucking plot?
Yeah. Rusalka. I mean, you guys, if you don't know Rusalka, I mean, the comparison everybody makes is it's the fucking Little Mermaid. You know, it's the goddamn Little Mermaid.
It actually is the little.
With some small differences. You got a. I mean, she's not a mermaid. She's like a water sprite, I think it's called, which is just like a spirit of the water.
Well,
so she doesn't have a tail. She's not a fucking fish. Don't imagine her as a fucking fish. She's got a normal anatomy.
But well, no, I'm not sure. So the Rusalka in Slavic lore, I'm not sure they actually had normal anatomies.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't have a tail. That's my point.
Yeah, she doesn't.
But
have
Rusalka just is the name. It's not a name. In the opera, it's a name. But Rusalka is what they call like these not a mermaid, but this type of spirit.
Exactly.
So it's like if there was an opera in English and she was named Mermaid.
Right.
Hey, mermaid, come here. Like Rusalka is the name for these spirits. It's not a person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
actually, this opera has a thing with not giving people real names. Like the father has a name, and then
yeah, but he's also referred to as like a lot of other stuff.
Gnome and shit.
The
like
witch, Rusalka the father.
Yeji Baba, I think.
But all the like the water spirits, the prince, the other princess. You know what I mean? Like they don't have fucking names. But before we get into the opera, let's talk a little bit about like maybe just the history of the Rusalka, right?
Sure.
Because I think they were originally good. They would come out and they would like what's the word? They would like make fertile, right?
Yeah, fertilize. So what I remember reading was, and this is all pre-Christian, right?
Yeah.
This is all Slavic pagan tradition. Is that they would have these nymphs, these water nymphs, for lack of a better word, the Rusalki.
Nymphos.
Yeah, the nymphos. We'll call nymphos from here on out. That's what we're committed now. All these nymphos would come out, or they'd be there, and they'd be they were signs of fertility, right?
Yeah.
Because there would be a part of the year, and I think it's in May.
You mean like still?
Yeah, still.
Yeah, still
people,
they do.
People still celebrate this Rusalka time of
but
year.
But it's changed.
And but it's and it's for a week, and it was thought that they came out and gave moisture to the ground. Originally, right. Yeah, blow your nose on
Sorry,
camera.
man. I was really sick last weekend, and I knocked it the fuck out.
Nice, dude. Hey, ginger people.
No, you can't imagine the amount of ginger I put in my body. I'm going to let you all know the recipe once I perfect it, but fuck chewing on ginger, fuck putting it in your tea. I've started learning how to concentrate it into like an extremely high-powered syrup, right?
You get the syrup and then you put it underneath your eyelid.
Well, because I bought these little shots. I sent you a picture. It's it's like an ounce of this ginger juice, and it burns like hell.
I love
it. It's a good burn.
I love it.
And I will figure out how to make this myself. Anyway, so
I love it.
I knocked it out, but I'm still getting over it.
So pre-Christian tradition, these
They
things
were
are
good.
not bad.
They were
They're
good.
And then all of a sudden, people get so fucking uptight. It's ridiculous. And then they turn these poor Rusalki, which is, I guess, how you're... I'm not just making that up. I heard that's how you pluralize it.
Yeah.
But if I'm wrong, then fuck me in the face. Then they enough said. Then they became the spirits, and this is really shitty. This sucks, right?
Okay.
They became the spirits of women who were somehow dishonored.
Oh, yeah. Women who like had a child out of marriage or something like that.
Right, and then would kill themselves.
Or wanted to, women who kill themselves, or women who killed themselves because of a bad marriage.
Right.
Then became these like demon spirits that then had to live at the bottom of the lake, right?
Yeah, totally.
And lure men to their death.
Exactly.
And that's what they're
And it
still
was a
thought of.
demonizing thing of like, oh, don't get pregnant out of wedlock. Fuck that.
Yeah, it was like a thing to kind of
Fuck that.
like control how women were acting, which is
Right.
fucked up. But what's fucked up is this Rusalka week, which still is a thing in the Czech, right? The Czech Republic.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to go swimming and all this stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
people were, especially men,
yeah.
because they were really thought of. So I don't know if
It's one of those things like breaking a mirror, where it's like, you're like, that's not true. But then some people are still kind of, it's better to not test it.
it's not
You know what
true.
I mean?
Exactly. It's not true, but why risk it?
But why?
You know?
There's kind of that
Why
feeling
do
about
that?
it in some places.
Well, the whole. Oh fuck! What was I gonna say? God damn it! Oh yeah, the post-Christian identity of the Rusalka then also became something like the siren in Greek mythology,
Right,
or
right,
like the
right.
Lorelei, as was pointed out. Of course, the Lorelei, if you don't know, is this big, like on the Rhine River. There's this big turn in the Rhine River, and it's this huge fucking rock,
Right.
like right at the turn. And it was said that people who were navigating the Rhine would hear these voices of women and be attracted to them and then crash, because so many people crashed on this fucking rock, right?
Yeah.
So again, sometimes when these men are making mistakes, they're just fucking blaming it on women.
Yeah, seriously.
What went wrong?
Yeah.
Why did you fucking crash your ship?
Those hot ass manatees,
I
man.
heard
Those sexy manatees.
heard a hottie woman and she made me crash. See, it's her fucking fault. Fuck
man.
that guy. Take some goddamn responsibility.
Seriously,
Take
man.
some responsibility. You were drinking. You were driving your
You're
boat.
Peaky Blinders over here.
The Peaky Blinders over
Back
here.
you off a notch.
Well, I get pissed off about something like that. Anyway, they got tied up to that, and were then considered that it was considered that the Rusalki would lure men into the water
Right.
and drag them down into their deaths. Right.
Yeah.
So, like you said, nowadays men are like kind of afraid to fucking go in the water.
Yeah, there's like a week where it's like, no swimming. So I really like...
one more thing.
Yeah.
And also the women,
Right.
they're supposedly hang out near willow trees, right? The Rusalki.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. Oh God, I love that feeling when you feel like you could feel it in the back of your fucking brain how a memory goes like and is pulled out of a place that you haven't accessed since you were like
sucked it right out of you, baby.
Sucked it out for me.
Yeah, they're like in the willow tree. So I think in this Rusalka week, they like, don't they put things in the trees like flowers or food or some shit? Like
the women though.
Yeah.
The men stay the fuck away.
It's like Jolene,
No, I don't know.
What Jolene, man?
I know the
Please
song.
don't take my man, right?
Oh my God. What a weak reference.
Oh, come on, man.
Jolene,
I should have stopped at Willow.
Jolene.
Rusalka fucking.
Took my fucking man. That's a great song, though.
Man.
That's a great song.
Oh, it's a great song in every way. In every way.
Enumerate the ways, if you will.
Lyrically, melodically,
She's got to kick her voice back then.
like
Kicks.
Dolly Parton. I like. I mean, the melody going up. The diff. There's that da da dum dum da da bum ba da bum bum ba da. I mean, come on, that's a build, baby. And then the lyrics are clever. Okay.
Miley Cyrus did an acoustic version of it that's online, and it's really good. Yeah. Have you heard it? Yeah. I mean, I don't often. I'm not a big Miley Cyrus fan, but she did it.
I like that Wrecking Ball.
I don't know.
Wrecking Ball.
the Wrecking Ball. Oh,
I straight up like that song. I don't
Really?
care. Yeah, you guys can come if you got a problem with me. Come and
Come
fight me.
at me, bro.
Come
at me, bro.
I'll be the Darmstadt Theater tomorrow, 2 p.m.
Right.
I'll be the guy handing out naps. All right, look. So I like operas that are based on real shit. Like Un Ballo in Maschera, based on real stuff.
Right.
When we talked about that recently, got my dick rock hard, right? Rusalka, based on this real folklore stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm busting out of my jeans.
Really good stuff.
I love it when it comes out of completely nowhere. So let's get into it then. It's like we said, it's basically The Little Mermaid. So you got this opera. It starts off. There's like these, what are they? Wood spirits, these wood nymphos, right?
Right.
They're fucking with like the water king who can't leave the water, right? This whole thing. And Rusalka's like moping in a tree or some shit, right?
In the willow tree.
In the willow.
Now, but the thing is, she's also a water
Sprite
blur
or whatever.
blurdy blur,
Yeah.
and she goes to her father and she says, "Dude, this fucking guy that comes swimming in the water.
The prince.
He's awesome.
The prince.
Oh my god, he's so good.
Right.
And he
can't like see her because like
right.
They're to normal people they're just like some sort of like waveform. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a mist. They can't really see them.
Nice description.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, he comes and then he comes. No.
I bet he gets naked. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's naked and she's all over his body. But that's not enough for her.
No.
Completely encompassing his naked body is not quite.
She can't
enough.
embrace him. She just goes right through him. Casper the fucking ghost.
Right.
Right. She wants to touch.
Right.
She wants to hold. Rusalka is actually a very sexual opera. This interview we
Definitely.
had today, she got into it, and I'm happy she did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? There's a lot of sex in this opera.
a lot of sex.
So she wants to, of course,
Well,
you see
kind
the
of.
goddamn Little Mermaid.
There's a lot of sexual desire. In the original one, there's not a lot of sex, but there's a lot of sexual desire.
Right.
So she says to her father, hey, look, I got this idea. I got an idea. I kind of want to give up my immortality and go with this guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's ill-advised.
Right.
That's ill-advised, and I don't know whether you've thought this whole thing through.
Bad idea bears.
Bad idea, bad news bears.
Bad news bears, that's what
Bad
it is.
news, bad idea bears.
Bad idea bears. Fucking Germany.
Anyway, he's like, all right, well, if you want to, then whatever, daughter, you do what you got to do. I got this person you got to go see. Her name is Yoshibaba, right?
Yeah. So she's going to go see the witch. And it's the same goddamn thing. She doesn't give up a singing voice. She's not like a singer. Although right before she sees the witch, of course, she sings the song to the moon. That's good shit, man. Little Mermaid. We can also do a podcast about the Little Mermaid. That's some good
Great
fucking
idea.
shit.
Great idea.
Let's do it.
Okay, that's going to be a new podcast form.
Because these old Disney movies have good fucking music.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, this "Up Where They Walk," that song. I once judged a vocal competition for children, and I heard that song 20 times, and I never got sick of it.
Right? No,
it
that's
is
a
a
great
good
song.
fucking song. And I wonder if the person that
Kiss
wrote
the girl.
Yeah,
is
I mean,
really good.
bangers, absolute bangers.
Was that also Tim Rice? And
You know what? And now I'm thinking about this. Now that we're talking about it, this "Up Where They Walk, Up Where They Play All Day in the Sun." Do you think the person who wrote The Little Mermaid drew that from the Song of the Moon in Rusalka? Because it happens at the same place plot-wise. In Rusalka, where we are right now in our summary, she sings this song to the moon saying, like, bring the prince to me. I want to be human. I want to be part of them. And then she goes and sees the witch.
That's interesting.
I wonder if whoever did The Little Mermaid obviously was very familiar with Rusalka.
Right.
Of course. Just like Rent is a remake of La Boheme.
Right.
You know, you have to know the origins. And if you know La Boheme and you watch Rent, there's all these callbacks in there. So now that we know Rusalka really well, since we studied up for this week that we're doing, I want to rewatch that movie.
Yeah.
I bet you there's callbacks fucking everywhere.
But dude, that's a great observation. That's really, really good. Yeah, I'd imagine that could be the case.
These people are smarter than we are, man. The
Yeah, they're
people that
smarter
make
than
this
we
shit.
are.
That's why they're fucking rich and we're in a fucking pimped out basement down
Hey,
here.
I love our studio, but
do.
it's a pimped out basement.
All right, so then she goes and she sings the song to the moon, and then she.
Whoa.
Do you
We
want
got that.
You want to jump
put
in
it
there?
in now, or should we save it? Should we save that savory morsel?
No, let's song to the moon. So let me
she
just
goes to
recap.
Yeji,
So
yeah.
no, she's not there yet. This is before she goes, and her dad says like, "Fine, you can go see the fucking witch, but to have a soul is to have sin." Doesn't he tell her that? And he's like, humans are full of sin, you know, and
Right.
it's full of bad shit. So I can't stop you. You're a lost cause, but you know, don't fucking do it.
Which
But if you have to do it, go see the witch. Then she sings. Then she moons everybody.
I made this point in the interview, and I really felt it. I don't know if we'll use that in the interview, which was why I kind of want to get it out now.
Get it out.
It's funny. I almost consider that a commentary. I don't know whether they meant to say, "Oh yeah, look, humans are kind of shitty because they have sin." But sin is what makes fucking life, or not sin, but problem and sin
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
You have to have that to live a fulfilling life as well.
Yeah, totally. Because she's immortal, living in this fucking lake. You know?
Exactly.
Looking at the same shit every day, and it's like if you don't have bad, then there's no good. You're just-
Exactly. If you don't have bad, then there's no
She's
good.
got no natural enemies. You know.
If there's no death, there's also no reason to do fucking anything.
Yeah.
No reason to do fucking anything. You can always put it off till tomorrow. There's no impetus. Why? Why would you do it today?
Yeah. Time becomes then completely obsolete.
Yeah.
You know, I could wait a day. I could wait 5 weeks.
Yep.
Doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. Totally. I thought it was a good point. All right, so
Thank you for that.
So anyone
Thank you
listen, any of you fucking dirty lawyers listening to this shit right now, Mike and I found a copyright-free, public domain recording of the Song to the Moon.
That's right. It's a really old recording.
So if you're listening and it's not fucking, Renee Fleming, then chill the fuck out, okay? We can't get the rights to that shit. So do you know who this is singing this?
Yeah. Hold on.
I'll get the info.
I'll get you the in.
Yeah, Mike and I are just going to start playing, another 10 years, and we could probably start getting some good quality recordings.
Well, this is a good quality recording.
Mike and I are exclusively playing shit from like the 20s.
It's it's 1915. A really old one. Emmy Destin. She is a Czech operatic soprano.
Yeah. 1915.
Yeah,
That's 14 years after this opera was premiered.
that's right.
So this is that's kind of cool in itself.
It's
that
definitely
so
cool because you have first-hand accounts of what the traditions were back then.
Yeah, I'm
So-
sure she was alive at least when the premiere happened.
Of course.
Dvořák could be dead because he died like 3
Actually-
years after.
I know she didn't sing the premiere, but I'll bet you she did sing the premiere in Vienna,
Sure.
which I don't know if you guys know, but Prague and Vienna, they're like fucking right. They're right
yeah,
there. It's
yeah.
like New York and Philadelphia.
Yep.
That's how close they are. And I'm pretty sure she must have sung the one in Vienna, and she did it in German, of course. That was the tradition back then, which I am kind of, for the longest time, I was very opera purist. Oh, why aren't you doing it in the original language?
Right.
I'm not sure if I am that anymore.
Is what your goal is? Are you trying to give?
Are you trying to communicate?
Well, you're trying to give like a museum piece. In which
Right.
case, then yeah, do the costumes, do everything traditional, do the original language, do the original libretto, do everything. You know what I mean? Or are you trying to tell a fucking story?
Yeah, but
And if
okay.
you're trying to tell a story, then it reaching people is then,
Sing it, sister.
More important.
Fucking sing it, sister. That being said,
yeah.
back then when the originals were going on, they would translate all the time because to them it was important.
Oh yeah. Back then they did way more translating than now. I don't know where we fell off of that. I guess there's more information now about how to do the other languages and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, back then they were doing it all the time. All right, so Mike's gonna Song to the Moon it up here.
Should we talk during or should we let people enjoy it? We could talk
how much
some.
you want to do of it? I mean, just do it's the same verse over and over again.
Yeah,
So
basically.
just do some. We'll just
We're going.
see what happens here. Ooh, that old school crackle.
I love that crackle.
Yeah.
These Scoopies.
That's stylistic, man. Yeah, he always wrote like he had a lot of Czech folk music influence in his stuff, And you can hear that. Damn.
You can hear the voice though. Like, a lot of these old recordings, you can't really tell the quality of the voice, but on this one you can. Ooh,
Yeah, there's a little
Go get
chesty,
it down
little
there.
Chesty in there, huh?
little Czech Steve.
Chesty. You turn down your phone a little bit. Yeah.
Nice.
Good stuff.
It's funny.
that's good, yeah.
It's funny. You oftentimes hear things like this nowadays,
Yeah.
and the way of singing nowadays, or the taste in singing nowadays, is so homogenized that this sort of unique sounding voice,
Yeah.
the things that we call mistakes weren't mistakes back then. They were just rigid. They were just
Like
honest vocal mannerisms.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. Well, I mean, we've talked about that before, and that's a whole nother podcast. Is just how this strive for perfection of the standard has kind of killed originality.
Yeah.
And these old recordings, it's really interesting. There's a YouTube video out there. I don't know what it's called, but they set up like an old recording technique from like the 1910s, 1915s.
Where they would record on the wax cylinder.
Yeah, they did that, but they had like someone, I can't remember who, Jonas Kaufmann or some famous.
No, it was Rolando Villazon.
I thought it was Piotr.
Bechala.
Yeah.
All of who lost in our March Madness
Well,
thing.
Kaufman's up right now.
Yeah,
against
Kaufman's up
Diana
right now.
Dama, but I think he's going to lose. But anyway, and you could hear the difference in like they would sing, and then you heard what their voice sounded like on the recording.
Yeah.
And you should go listen to it because it's a really good exercise. Because then when you listen to these old recordings, you can kind of do that process backwards.
Yeah.
Because you can't judge the shit out of people for that. 'Cause
That's right.
I'm sure that woman had an amazing, gorgeous, brilliant, metallic voice, but you just can't record that on a
Especially
fucking...
sopranos. It seems like...
Well, the high frequencies were the hardest things to record because you need
Exactly.
all these subtle, intense vibrations, you know? But even like you listen to Caruso and stuff, you know, it's like you can't really get a great feeling for what that guy
Sometimes I wonder whether that is where the whole thing about tenors being like the fucking stars, the tenors, came from, because it seems like the tenor voice on these recordings comes across better than
In the
any other
recording
of the
edge.
voices.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they're right in the sweet spot of harmonics. You know what I mean? Yeah, it totally makes sense. But if you haven't checked out "Song to the Moon," go to YouTube, find Renee Fleming, find Netrebko, whoever's singing this
There are
stuff.
a million recordings. It's the one that
It's-
everybody knows.
It's beautiful music. I'm actually not so into it as much as everyone else is.
Well, the thing
It's a beautiful piece of music. But, but some people lose their fucking minds. And
Well, that piece of music
I'm
is,
okay.
of course, that's something special. But I, for the longest time, I was really, really into Dvořák, right?
yeah.
And his New World Symphony and his Eighth Symphony, that's the Eighth and Ninth Symphony, the Ninth being the New World, I was obsessed with the sound that he got. And you can't hear that so much in the Song to the Moon, but you can hear it, for instance, at the beginning of Act 2.
Yeah.
You know, at the very beginning of Act 2, it sounds, you can feel like this. He was good at painting these pictures of like open expanses, right?
Yeah.
And that, I just think that's it's a very Dvořák-y sound, which
Yeah.
I like when you can tell a composer just by a couple seconds of their music.
Right.
Anyway, Yeji Baba.
Yeah, let's blast through this. So, I mean, you know the story. You've seen The Little Mermaid. So she goes to the witch, and the witch says, yeah, you can become a human, but you're going to lose your voice. You can't communicate with other humans.
And
right?
you're going to lose your immortality.
And you're going to lose your immortality. And, of course, the deal is if the deal goes bust and he doesn't fall in love with you, then you're both going to get fucked, you know?
Yeah.
Or if he loves you, it's happy ever after. So she goes to... So then he finds her, and he takes her back to the castle. They're in love. After like a week or something, he gets fucking sick of her because he says, you're fucking cold all the time. What is this? You know?
Well, so yeah, exactly. They were together for a week, and then she didn't, as they say, give it up because she wanted to take it slow. She's a reasonable girl.
Yeah, no, but he
Rusalka's reasonable.
He was a horn dog.
Horn dog. So they had a party.
So they had a party, and there's this other foreign princess, and she's all like flirting hard, and she's like making fun of Rusalka and stuff. And so she catches the prince's eye, so he decides to go with her, rejects Rusalka. She talks to her dad. Her dad's like, come back to the water, you know, this shit, and whatever. You know the story, right? And so then the witch is like, you know, of course you make this all right. You have to kill him with a dagger. She's like, nah, fuck that. I'm not doing that. So then she becomes like a water demon, you know,
That's
luring.
right, a water demon.
So then the current version of what a Rusalka is.
Exactly, and that's what I find to be really interesting about the opera Rusalka. It seems to blend
With
the pre-Christian and post-Christian myth.
yeah, they kind of go together.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
before
It bridges the gap.
Yeah, before that, she is very much descriptive
Of what it used to be.
Of what it used to be, and
Right.
then she becomes this water demon, which people fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a clever use because why restrict yourself to one interpretation
Right.
of the myth when you can have both?
So I mean, basically, then the prince comes, you know, and he's like, "I'm sorry, whatever." They kiss, and then of course her kiss kills him because she's still a water demon.
And he knows it, but he wants it.
He wants it anyway, and so somehow the purity of this shit, her soul goes to heaven, and she goes back to the lake. It doesn't end happy for her. She's back to the lake as a water demon, right?
Right.
So boom, curtain down.
Man, you really wanted to get through that.
We're at 45 minutes, dude.
Oh fuck, dude!
Yeah. And so anyway. He wrote the opera in 1901. It was one of the last things he did. He died 3 years later. He was 60 years old ish when he wrote it. I don't know exactly. But he was a famous dude during his life. People knew who he was.
I forgot about
you know?
that. That's after his time in America because he
He
spent
came
a lot
back.
of time in America.
And this librettist, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The librettist. Okay. I guess we have a doorbell. We're going to take a pause
we didn't
here.
know that.
Okay, hold on, everybody. All right, everyone, back. Sorry. I guess we had a doorbell. One of the neighbors wanted to
Learn
talk to us
something
about
new
something.
every day, huh?
Yeah, that's cool. And we found out where the doorbell was, so it was
You
good
want
that
to
it
know what
happened.
it was? They said, "Hey, it smells like shit in here. Is that you guys?"
Yeah. Something outside smelled bad, and it's not us. And Mike, being the personal person he is, he's like, "No, we didn't fart or anything." that's what you fucking said, man.
I know I said that. I know how to speak.
Anyway, this what were we talking about? This librettist, Kvapil or something like that. He was looking for somebody to. He had written the libretto before he had a composer, and then he was looking for someone to do this opera. And Dvořák had just come back from the States, and so
Isn't that crazy?
He had
just,
the time.
He just wrote it, and he's like, "I'll find somebody. I'll put years of work into this."
It's
and
funny
then I'll
because
find
all
somebody."
these people, the librettist, Dvořák, all these people, they were all working at the theater in Prague. He had worked at a university in Prague. Around the time he was 50 or so, Dvořák was kind of a professor in
Right.
Prague. And then, like Mike had just said, he went to America, not for very long, but for a couple of years. And his goal in America was kind of like to understand American music. And he actually wrote a cool article about Americans should really embrace African American and Native American music. It would help
Right.
them find their identity as a nation's music. And I'm blanking on the name right now, but one of the first African American composers was Harry. What was the last name?
I can't remember, dude.
Anyway,
it's
Dvořák and him kind of buddied up, and this guy showed him a lot of like African spirituals and stuff.
That's awesome.
And this all influenced him before he went back and then wrote Rusalka. So he was, and the school he went to in America was also cool because it was one of the first schools that had women and African Americans and then like men
Great.
all studying together. And so he was in all that,
nice.
And so I don't know much about Dvořák as a person, but he was well liked in his time. I imagine he was a cool dude. You know what I mean? His 60th birthday was like a national event that people celebrated in small cities and stuff. So
Awesome.
He was. I think he had a good life and a good, solid career as a musician, as a professor, as a composer. I think the dude got around.
The dude got around.
But I think he fell in love with some woman, and then like she didn't love him back, so he
Right.
married her younger sister. Right?
Yeah. Which that seems to be a
the
to be a
thing.
common theme among composers.
Yeah. We talk Wagner. What did he do? He like.
He went after also a sibling. I think. Well, Mozart did.
Yeah.
Mozart did the same thing. Constanza was the number 2 that he
Yeah,
wanted.
they all go and they go for like the someone close to them. Like, I love you, you don't love me back. I'm gonna marry your younger sister.
Right. I wonder if that's kind of like meant as a big fuck you sometimes.
That's weird. Or is it just hard to meet people?
Yeah.
Like maybe it's really hard to meet people because there's no internet. You have to like just stumble across them in the wild.
Yeah.
Now the dude had a cool life. He did a competition when he was in his early 30s, I think, and Brahms was actually one of the people that judged the competition. And Brahms fucking loved Dvořák.
Yeah. I can imagine.
He fucking loved him, and as long as Brahms was alive, he was pushing Dvořák's career, and he wanted him to move to like Vienna or something at some point. And he's like, my fortune's yours. Like I'm gonna. He was a huge
Wow.
supporter of Dvořák.
I didn't know that. Where'd you find that out?
Fucking read in a book.
Nice. No one does that anymore, Jared.
But Dvořák, he was kind of poor, and so he had this job playing. I can't remember if it was viola or violin. Viola, I think, in Prague.
In Prague.
And so he got to see everything. He got to hear Mozart. He got to hear everything. And Wagner, I think, conducted something there once, and the dude fucking loved Wagner.
Yeah, well,
Dvořák
look,
did, and you can hear the influence.
You can hear the influence, especially in the beginning of the third act in this piece. I mean, we listened to it not too long ago. Remember, it sounded like Valkyrie, or I can't remember. It was maybe Rheingold or something. I can't remember the exact.
Well, even these
Man,
water nymphs at the beginning have this whole ho 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 thing.
Yeah.
And it's really a callback to like Wagner pieces and what he did with like the Valkyries and stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hoyo to ho.
Yeah. I mean, and he was very much aware of vodka, and he was quoted fucking loving vodka.
The Rhine Maiden are basically like Rusalki. They're basically. I had to stretch there. Sorry, I got.
Yeah, I thought you were like praying to the heavens. Or
No.
something like
The
that.
Rhine Maiden are basically they're kind of like Rusalki.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they do the hi da ba da da da.
Yeah, that's what he was kind of doing. And I mean, he loved Wagner. He was quoted once as saying that like Wagner was a genius and he was like capable of doing like beyond what other composers were. So he was very aware of Wagner. He liked it. And I mean, a lot of these dudes were hanging around the same places at the same time. So the influence they had on each other was nuts.
I think maybe what you could do to solve this whole, because we did a couple podcasts already on Wagner and what
Right.
and how much of a genius and how much of a dick face he was, right?
Sure.
I think you should take every quote that somebody says of Wagner, even if they didn't really say it, but like
Yeah.
say, like you take Dvořák quote. I'm making one up, right? He says, Wagner is an unadulterated genius. If there is a God, we know how he would compose music. Period. But he was a dick face.
Just like an asterisk.
And every quote that's positive about Wagner might have to have that. Like, because, again, if Dvořák it just so happens that Dvořák seems to be a pretty good guy and wrote awesome music.
I think he's a solid dude. I mean,
not everybody is.
I didn't dig into his life, but he seemed to have like a pretty, like, I did music, I did a compose, like I was a professor, I went abroad, I came back, I wrote a banging opera that went like abroad and stuff. I think he wrote 9 or 10 operas. I think Rusalka was like 9th of his 10 or something like that.
It seems to be that that is the thing about opera companies. If you want to, why not bring some of this shit out?
Yeah. And I think, though, he had some trouble. I think Czechs back then didn't have the best, how to say it? Like in Vienna, I think he was quoted once saying that he felt kind of repressed because he was getting bad reviews because he was Czech. I think a lot of the world didn't like Czech composers and stuff.
I gotta say, at least back then, I don't know anything about Vienna today, right? But back then,
back
Vienna
in like
was
the
a
late 19th century.
Bunch of fucking prudes. You can go back to the premiere of Don Giovanni, right?
Yeah.
Don Giovanni, we talked about it before. Went to Prague, fucking knocked it out of the park. Was fucking awesome.
Right.
And it ended with Don Giovanni getting sucked down into hell, and it was fucking fiery and awesome and a great ending to an opera. Does it in Vienna, and he has to do this fucking weep, beep, la, now we know the lesson of the day. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, he had to add this happy ending. Or
add
whatever.
this fucking moral blah blah for these people with sticks in their asses.
Yeah.
In their asses, in all the way of their asshole is where they had these sticks, and that bums me out.
Yeah, but Czech people, man. I have some experience being out there. They seem cool, man. And he, like, at this university he was teaching at with these real progressive ideas back then. And he was. What I respect about him, about Dvořák, is he kind of was like willing to absorb all ideas. And that's rare, especially in today's world. Most people, they formulate who they want to be as a composer or as an opera singer or whatever, and then they fucking reject everything else.
Yeah, because they see themselves as like the new beginning of something, blah, blah, blah. And they don't see themselves as a continuum.
Well, like, as opera singers, we're like, as soon as, like, it's like a pop singer tries to talk to you about vocal stuff, you're like, shut the fuck up. But I follow, on Instagram, for instance, I follow this rock guy, and he's always giving vocal tips about how to sing rock music.
Do you want to plug him?
I don't know. He's got a small following. It's like 100 people follow this guy. And
but he's good.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's trying to be, like, public, so I'm not going to plug him. But he's got good tips on, like, how to sing rock music. And he knows about, like, the palate and the vocal folds and, like, how, like pivoting the larynx. He's using good anatomy, but he's using not anatomy, vocabulary, I guess is the word, to talk about the voice. I respect him fully for it. I'm not going to do it, but you can take from other things. And sometimes he says stuff, and I apply it to what I'm doing.
Got to. That's great, dude.
Dvořák's a good teacher in that. You want to cast it up or what?
Let's cast it up.
All right, so we're going to do the Hollywood casting here, so...
Man, I think I nailed it this time. And I nailed it in a record low time.
Yeah? Okay.
Buckle up your dick. Yes. Nice.
Can't believe you told the neighbors that you didn't fart. That was our first impression. We met everybody in the building just then. They were all standing in the stairwell.
They laughed. It broke
What's that smell?
It broke the ice, dude.
Mike was spitting some game up there. This woman told him her name, and he's like, "That is a lyric name."
Spitting some game. Spitting some game. It is a very lyric name.
Yeah, we won't say it, but like. That's a very...
No, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was
what you said...
beautiful.
What you said was beautiful, because you could have said it was a beautiful name, but it's a lyric. Your name sings off the tongue.
Yeah, right.
Your name
You looked at me like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Because should I go?
Can I leave you two alone?
Yeah.
What's going on? Where am I? I can't feel my legs.
Take her husband out for a beer or something? So you
through the path. Bulldoze for me.
Yeah. Hey, I'm the best wingman there is, man. You don't know.
I don't. I'm
unfortunately, you've been married for most of the time. We've known each other.
Did you say fortunately or unfortunately?
Oh, I don't know.
Dude, good avoidance.
All right.
Good avoidance. That could have been trouble.
Yeah, all right. So let's Let's go here. You
You
want to
ready?
go first or second? You seem like you're chomping at the bit, so why don't you go?
No, but I can go if you want.
I always go first. Why don't you
Okay,
go?
okay. Let's go backwards of importance, maybe.
Okay.
Princess,
Okay.
you need someone who is willing to shit talk
Yeah.
and has to be attractive
Yo.
and somehow, I don't know if you could call it dark, but Mila Kunis seems to
Yeah, of course. She's like in
seems
every
to be
casting we do.
in everything for me. She's everything to me. Mila Kunis is everything to me. So
She
just deal with it.
She has an interesting quality.
She's beautiful. She's just fucking beautiful and somehow mysterious. And a foreign princess. That's the name of the character.
Yeah.
You want beauty and mystery.
And her name is just so lyric, you know?
Mila, if you're listening, your
Mila.
name. Mila Kunis.
All right.
Kunis. If it's
Mila Kunis. Kunis.
if you listen, here's another check thing for you, right?
Check it
if
out.
you have DI
Yeah.
or TI
Yeah.
or NI,
Yeah.
if you have those combinations, then
Yeah.
there's always a glide put in
Yeah,
it. So
yeah.
D
Yeah.
T
D-
N.
Yeah.
Yeah, D T N.
That's good.
Every time in Czech, people, you're learning something today.
Boobies.
Then we got Yeji Boobies. Yeji Boobies. We got Kathy Bates.
Who dat?
Oh, come on.
Who dat?
Oh, come on, dude.
Who dat? Kathy Bates.
I got to come down to your fucking level.
Betty Crocker?
No, shut the fuck up. Listen, do you you know Adam Sandler's movie The Waterboy?
Yeah.
His mother.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, what else she been in?
She's been in all kinds of stuff.
Probably all this highbrow shit.
What? Yeah, well, the one I was about to mention is really highbrow. It's with Jack Nicholson. What the fuck is? It's the most depressing movie I've ever seen.
Is that One Flew Over the... no, what's
Now, give me a fucking break.
Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, Jack Nicholson, and he's a retiree who his wife just died, and his daughter's getting married. Oh, what is it fucking
know.
called? I have to find it out. Okay, I'll find it out later while you're doing yours. Yeah.
No.
Vodnik or Vodnik. Yeah.
Yep.
Nick is Ed Harris. Come on, dude. I can't explain every fucking actor to you.
No, I'm just acting like I don't know for the listeners.
You know.
Ed
right?
Harris.
Ed Harris.
What was he in?
IMDb, God damn it.
Just tell me, man. I'm going to tell you the movies my actors were in. I always
Yeah,
do
but
that.
I
streamlined this.
I get fucking.
Yeah, you have to look because you don't know.
No, I know, but I'm
You just
blanking.
Googled a fucking photo.
I'm blanking here.
I'm going to show you how this is done when it's my turn.
Okay. You show me how it's fiaking.
I told you on the last podcast,
Yeah,
which is actually the
done.
next podcast. It's a fucking doorbell box.
You did.
Told you. That's a fan over there.
He's
by
in the
way.
Truman Show. He's on the. He's the director for the Truman Show.
The bald guy.
Yeah.
Up in the moon.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Good music for that. I think Philip Glass did the music for the Truman Show. One of the only film
that's
scores he did.
right.
Yeah, not so minimalistic, but pretty minimalistic. Philip Glass, man.
That's right. I remember that. That's really good. That's a great movie anyway.
Yeah, that's just one of the best
One
movies
of the. Yeah, really? Whoa.
Yeah, man. Jim Carrey, dude. Comedians can fucking act.
Oh man. Well, we don't have. We've talked about that so many
Mach
times.
weiter.
Yeah, good. The Prince and Rusalka I cast together from their time in the movie Moulin Rouge. Rusalka is Nicole Kidman, and the Prince is Ewan McGregor.
Come with me.
Right there, you go. There you go.
Yeah, good.
I think that's not a bad casting.
It's all right. Let me do mine.
Okay,
What are you looking up?
I'm looking up that movie. Just fucking concentrate, dude.
With what's his name?
Yeah,
Who?
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. I get the golfer.
Yeah, you're talking about Anger Management with Adam Sandler.
Nope.
Was that Adam Sandler in Anger Management?
Yeah, that was.
That's a good fucking movie.
That is a good movie, but that's not the one I'm talking about.
Jack
Okay, you give me yours now.
What did you start with?
About Schmidt is the name of that movie.
That's quasi highbrow shit.
It's quasi, yeah.
All right, I'm into like old school in these college romp movies.
Okay. Whatever floats you.
Foreign Princess? I did Miley Cyrus.
Okay, funny. I mentioned her earlier in the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
That's good.
I did Miley Cyrus for the Foreign Princess.
Jolene.
Rusalka fucking out. Okay, so The Witch, is that what you did next? Doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Okay. Jizzle Boobs, I did, check this out, Nicole Kidman.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
No
Yeah,
way.
dude. Yeah, dude. You put her in some makeup, with that nose.
But why did you come to Nicole Kidman?
Because in The Little Mermaid, they make this Ursula like really evil. But in Rusalka, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like Rusalka comes to her and she's like, yeah, I'll do it for you if you fucking want. Like she's not, I don't know. I didn't want to paint her as fucking like the villain, you know?
No, I kind of like that.
Anyway.
I kind of like it. It's just like, well, yeah, I've got that power. I don't do it all the time because...
Yeah, I was just because witches, you often go like old and creepy, which is fucking fair enough, which is fine. But I think sometimes like maybe she's just like a cool witch, you know? All right.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Yo, the father, the water gnome, the father, I did Gary Oldman.
Nice. Solid casting.
Rusalka, and well, I did the Prince. The Prince is the weird one. Prince, I did Miles Teller, which is the drummer from Whiplash.
What the fuck?
Dude, I just thought because you need someone
Show me a picture.
who's a little bit of a dick.
Show me a picture. I don't know what that would look like, and so I only have visuals to go based on here. But I gotta see. I definitely gotta see.
He's got the face for it, man. You'll see this shit right there. This guy. Come on, he would totally pick up a girl then drop her after like a week for being cold and not.
Yeah, why is
putting
he
out.
squinting in all those pictures?
That's just his eyes. You fuck.
Is every picture he takes in the sun like directly in the sun? That's great. If you guys could see it.
Yeah,
That's why we got to get video soon.
Yeah. Okay. Rusalka, I did Dakota Fanning.
Yeah.
She's got to be naive because Rusalka's a naive character.
Yeah. Fine.
I mean, she's the embodiment of being naive. You know, she wants to give it all up for this man. And interesting enough, in Darmstadt, we're talking about their production, and we're going to go check it out. They took a real feminist approach on it, which is cool because it's a woman's story. You know what I mean? It's a woman's journey, and there's lots of aspects on it. It's a story that is directly applicable to a lot of situations today.
Yeah.
There's a number of things you could apply it to, and Darmstadt really leaned into that, and they added some stuff. You know, it's cool. I think they did good work.
Yeah.
This woman that we talked to, she's what's it called in English?
I don't.
Is
Again,
it dramaturg? Is that?
I guess you could, but she's a dramaturg or a dramaturgin, the female version of it. But she's basically the dramaturgs in Germany are basically like scholars. They're the ones who know literature, know the folklore, know all that stuff, and are.
Hold on, let's see what it sounds like.
Dramaturge.
Dramaturge.
You want it one more
Turge.
Dramaturge.
Dramaturge.
Come on, nobody says urge like that.
No,
Dramaturge.
I don't know what you say in English, but she's a
I don't. It's the fucking weirdest
These
thing.
people, what they do, their job is to basically do like the backstory, the history, and when we do this in the future, they're some of the most interesting people to talk about.
Absolutely.
Because as a singer, you know your role, but you have to learn the notes, you have to learn everything, so you can't learn the opera as well as those people do. There's no point. And like we said in the Tosca episode, sometimes it's an advantage to not know what other characters are doing because it helps you play your role. You know
I'm
what I mean?
a firm believer in that.
But these people, they really dig deep. They dig deep. So, you got anything else you want to say to the little
No, I want to put the kibosh on this one.
So everybody, I'm out of town, so we pre-recorded a podcast for you. We'll release that in 2 weeks. You'll have that. We do another questions episode. Lots of really good questions on that one. And then when we're back, we're going to be hitting the ground running. I
just want to say one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Merch is so tantalizingly close.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to wait till I get back to do that. But
So right around the corner, people, you will be able to get your fucking...
the stickers are sitting right here. They
They're
look
sitting
fucking
right
amazing.
there.
They look like they glow.
The posters are sitting here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The hats are on the way.
The hats are on the way. Everything is right around the corner. You'll be able to have all your swag.
It's just around the river, man. Okay. You like that twang?
I do it.
All right, peeps, take care of yourselves. And,
Take care. Dramaturg.
and,
that sounded like South Park. Like, the Duke of Germs. Dramaturg.
if anyone's got some good advice for something I can do in New York next week, let me know, right?
Hit 'em up.
If there's any good operas going on, man, hit me up.
Hit him up if you can get him tickets. Hit him up.
Yeah, we'll do an SDA review. No, I'm not reviewing shit. All right, peeps, take care of yourself. See ya.
See ya.